So economics, the role it plays in society is to try to understand how to optimize and how to make things as efficient as possible. I think that's generally the goal of economists and of economics, and a system in which you are doing everything optimally so that everyone is better off is the best kind of system. It doesn't end up always playing into the common good, however. You end up with winners and losers in economics. So you're trying to find the most optimal role for everyone on average.
Economics as such, the management of households, the management of entire national economies, maybe even the global economy, is an essential part of what we do and who we are in a way. Whether or not it serves the common good really depends on how it is done. And if you try to ram through a particular model onto societies without understanding what the interdependencies might be and the repercussions might be for distributive effects, for politics, for minorities, etc., I think then it doesn't really serve the common good if we define the common good as serving really everybody in some way.
At the end of the day, human beings need to survive. Human beings need to have a decent quality of life in order to be decent human beings. And without allocating the resources of the nation in such a way as to guarantee a decent welfare for the vast majority of the people, you're not going to have all the other things that you need for society to thrive.
We all exist within a certain kind of market arrangement. And to that extent, economics certainly is necessary, even indispensable in human life and society. Now, beyond the basics, economics does have a role in society because it necessarily regulates and plays a role in allocating, distributing limited resources. Now, within that liberal market economy approach, assumptions, I would say that economics has not gone as far as it should in terms of addressing equality, quality of life.
I think we all agree that there are certain things we expect of government. We want it to keep us safe from foreign invasion and on the streets at home. So we want good policing and good defense forces. We also want to be able to pay our way and earn our living and have opportunities in a stable economic environment. So governments really must ensure that we keep inflation reasonably low so people's earnings don't inflate to nothing and they can pay their way in a stable way under clear expectations. We need the rule of law and we need that executed.
All social existence requires an economic underpinning, otherwise there was no surplus to deploy for any conception of the common good. The study of economic life, its organization and reorganization under the pressures of new technologies and social change, remains an important and challenging endeavor, and an essential element in any pursuit of the common good.
One of the things that economics does in its training is posit a common good. And I think that immediately takes you away from the space of politics, right? Because in some sense, there are many situations in the economy in which there are conflicts of interest. Economics, the way that I would like to understand it, clearly can play a good role in trying to understand what we would want to have from a democratic, open, egalitarian society. But posing something like the common good can sometimes, if you will, obscure that.
Economics does play an increasing role. Of course, as you know, some people even accuse economics of its economic imperialism, whereby its methodology or its methods, rather, are being applied in other sciences, most obviously in political science, human sociology, and so forth. So I think it does play a big role. At times, I have to say, I think actually it might play too big of a role, because sometimes it seems to me that methodology that is used by economics is inappropriately applied to the issues where actually much more historical study would make more sense.
Economics can be extraordinarily helpful in serving the common good. And there have been periods in our history in which economics has done that, has achieved that. And I'm referring in particular to the period known to all economists, no matter what their views are, the golden age of economics, which ensured that there were high levels of employment, decent levels of income, and so on and so forth. So economics is quite capable of serving the common good. I'm not sure that it does has done at all times in history, or that it does now.
It's almost impossible to imagine a non-ideological economics. I mean, I think in principle, we could have studied the economy scientifically the way we study other, areas of existence scientifically in the same, but we can't do it as long as we live in a capitalist economy, because the questions are too close to the basic structures of authority and hierarchy of our society. The notion that we're going to sort of persuade people in the economics profession that we have a better set of ideas and we're going to win out that way, I think it just kind of misses that there is a deep political reason why economics is the way it is. So you need to just, again, what we were saying at the beginning, if you want to do good scientific work, you actually have to have a foot outside the profession to give you a base somewhere else.
Ideology is invisible, that it's the oxygen we breathe, and it performs this role which is the most unnoticed and important role of all, which is it's the anchoring direction, the vision of the good life, and a set of linked incentive systems and cultural norms and economic norms that guide us towards it. So you have an economic ideology, which of course shapes our behaviors, shapes normal life. But we've also had an economic ideology that if you ask about the common good, it's kind of showing that wheels are coming off it in terms of its ability to deliver on the common good.